What's happening, YouTube? Kenny back with another how-to video coming to you straight from Cointon. Today, we're replacing the ignition switch on my 91 Miata. This video is going to be general for all cars, so it can help you out no matter what car you have. So one day, like any other, I hopped in the car, and this happened. Okay, we got lights. Radio. Come on, baby. Mamas. Okay, that's a little bit of alarming. Same problem. Oh shit, hold up. Whoa. I thought it was a starter. Even though I didn't hear any clicking, I had assumed it was a starter. I even tried jumping the car and still nothing. I even tried jumping the starter by tapping on it with the breaker bar. I was still only getting lights on the dash and hearing the fuel pump engage. And the next morning, this happened. Clutch all the way in. Put the key in. Nothing. No lights, no sound, no nothing. I even went and bought a starter. So I was like, damn, no lights? Well, let me test the battery then. Took the battery out, took it to O'Reilly. They said it was a good battery, fully charged. So I've come to the conclusion that it might be the ignition switch, since it doesn't look like the car is reading the key at all. All right, let's get started. First thing you want to do is remove any panel you have underneath the steering wheel. For a 91 Miata, all you're gonna need is a Phillips head screwdriver and a new ignition switch. If you have a 91 Miata, you should have 2 Phillips screws right here at the bottom, where the 2 screws broke off so the plate didn't hold anymore. Next, you're gonna want to do is locate the ignition switch. It's as simple as following exactly where you put the key in. So as you can see, we put the key in straight to right there. Following it straight to the back, right there directly behind it, we have this big chunk of plastic, and that is our ignition switch. There's only one harness connecting into this ignition switch, and it's a press and pull harness. All you do is press down to release it, and it comes right out. It's always good to look at the new assembly when you install. I can see that the ignition switch sits just like that. Looking at the new one, I can see there's only one screw holding up at the top. If we go ahead and look in there, we can see one Phillips head screw holding in this ignition switch. And that's the only screw that we're gonna be taking out. Now that screw that we see right there, you can see it's a shiny silver. It can likely indicate that it's aluminum. So it's important to hit the Phillips head straight on and twist firmly. You don't wanna be hitting it at an angle where you can strip it. As you can see, we really don't have a good angle on this. If it was possible, the easiest solution would be lower down the steering column so you can access that screw on a more straight angle. This is a 91 Miata, so we don't have that luxury. Lucky for us, this screw is drilled into plastic, so it shouldn't be that tight on there. I have this little adapter that I got at Lowe's. You're able to put this on a ratchet and you can put different kind of bits on it. I think just using this alone to turn it is gonna give us the perfect amount of room to get in there. So let's get inside. So you can't see, but I gotta fit it on there. And perfect. It's twisting real easily. Alright, we're just gonna back the screw all the way out. Okay, the screw came right out. Now nothing should be holding in this ignition switch. So let's just give it a firm tug and wiggle this baby out. I don't know if that was supposed to come off. Okay, there we go. Okay, now let's inspect the parts before we put them back in and make sure they're identical. The main thing you want to check is to make sure that the key position is in the right position. You want to make sure that your ignition switch is set to lock when you put it in. Looking at the old one, we know the orientation because we know the nut is on top, so we know this lines up, we're right there on that top. This is lined up the exact same way. If it wasn't, all you gotta do is you just get your key and turn it. But in this case, you want to make sure it's turned all the way to the lock position. It cannot turn any more counterclockwise. So we know our new ignition switch is set correctly. Okay, reinstalling is the exact same way. You can see that little tab, and that's where it's going to insert right there. So match it up. Don't worry, it can only go in one way. There you go, you hear that click. And you can grab it by the wire harness end and twist it. And it's not twisting, so we know it locked into place completely. We're gonna reinstall our screw. Make sure it gets tightened down as much as you can. It is plastic, so be careful. Give it a nice shake. That ain't going anywhere. Plug back in the harness. There you go. And let's start her up. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. At least give me lights. Nope. Okay, thank y'all so much for watching. Little short how-to on how to replace the ignition switch on your Miata. It's also referred as to your ignition or starter switch. Unfortunately for me, it wasn't the problem, but if you diagnose your ignition switch to be the problem, or you just want to try it out, at least you know how to uninstall and reinstall a new one. Hey, what's up YouTube? Real quick, just want to say I did end up getting the car started. I can't tell you exactly what it was, as well as replacing the ignition switch. I replaced the terminals. I also replaced the fuses. This is the 80 amp main fuse. If you can see, it's split right there in the middle. I also replaced another 30 amp fuse. This one was set for the head. Both of these were underneath the hood in the fuse box. I also replaced this 10 amp that was in the inside of the cabin that was labeled room. And I think that is due to my big stereo. But I got that fuse replaced. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next how-to. Bye.